Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Well, I definitely have problems with this bird, the h501s. Got many flights out of her, and all of a sudden, one time, went out to fly it. Everything was fine, went to pitch forward, and it just completely did a left turn and came right back at me. I don't know what's happening. I did a controller stick recalibration to make sure those were good. That's good. I opened up the controller, checked all the IPEX, the SMA cables, the voltages, everything's correct with the controllers. And the next step is to open up the drone. There's just get yourself a little screwdriver. So hopefully, I'm hoping it's not a bad ESC or something like that, but I cannot figure out why. And I've done multiple flight tests trying to fix this issue. I've done different calibrations. That ain't the issue. I have full throttle, up, down. I got full yaw, turn, left, right. I got full roll, left and right. For some reason, when I go forward, it turns around. It will not go past like 20 feet. And it seems like it's flying on an angle. Trim sticks are all centered. Everything's fine. I just don't understand it. So we're going to open this up. Alright, so once you get the two screws off the landing cups, you need a very small tiny screwdriver, and you take out the one that's there and the one that's over there. And be very careful with the right rear, because if you look in there, that's the tip, that black thing going up in there. That's the tip of the 5.8 transmission antenna, and you don't want to dislodge that too much. Okay, once you got those two tiny ones and all the other screws out, I put the little tiny ones on a bag because trust me, they are very small. And they go, there's two in each landing cup thing. So then you dislodge each motor and it's ready to come apart. As you can see, it's all coming off. Flip it back over now if you want, but you got to be careful about those landing cups. Alright, so all the screws are off now. When you go to pull this off, and don't pull too hard, because look, you have the GPS wires and everything inside going to the top of the shell. Alright, so once you get all the screws, and when you pick up on this, it's going to stop, because on the shell there's I pulled this back so you could see it. That black shielding is kind of like it just shields the electronics in the drone from, there's the compass sensor up by the window there. There is the compass sensor, the one with the green, red, black, and white wires. And there's the GPS module in the upper part of the shell. And I just unplugged them from the power control board. GPS module plugs in right here, and the compass sensor plugs into that one. That wire right there is the SMA. Well, it's just basically an IPEX it runs to the right rear. That's the 5.8 transmission. Here's the 2.4 control right here. They put this kind of silicone glue so it doesn't come off. Here's the left rear ESC. There's, your main power wire coming in, your ground, and then there's another wire that has to go. There's actually two more wires, a white and a black one that you can't really see all that well. Right here we have the 8 APM processor that controls all its autonomous functions. Module, 2.4 module, and that just runs down inside of there, and there's a little antenna, but that is the inside of the h501s. The ESCs, or electronic speed controls, are red in here, and I noticed something on the right rear. It almost looks as if, it's hard for this to focus this, but there's a red, black, a white, and there's two small wires and two large wires. And as I took this apart, this thing was just kind of floating around freely. And this almost looks a little melted, so I'm going to have to make sure that wire is still connected. I can't get it really to focus. There, you see that? You see the white? You can't even barely see the black wire. Well, those all need to connect to tell the motors, you know, when to spin, how fast to spin. So there's your camera module way down in there. If you ever need to change anything, it's pretty simple. I mean, there is a lot of electronics in here, but everything that this quad does is controlled by this 8 APM processor, just one processor. So I'm going to be checking some things here with the multimeter, and hopefully I'm going to figure out the problem with this damn thing. So I'm going to be looking at this thing more in detail, but I just don't understand why it would go forward and all of a sudden turn. So maybe I gotta power this thing up and check it out, because when you put power to these ESCs should light up. There's a little LED in there, and I believe last time I flew, the right rear was kind of dull, which means one of these wires could have a loose or maybe even melted connection. So I'm going to be testing all that with a multimeter. The LED stuff comes off here for each one. You got your power coming in, your main power, and then the ESC stands for electronic speed control. There's tiny little processors in there, and they read the information coming from the processor, and that's how it can fly. You know, without those, you would be manually have to giving every one of those props throttles. That's the whole purpose of the electronic speed controls. So with all that said, I am hoping that I can figure out what's wrong with this thing. And if you get confused, the stuff is labeled. That says GPS, that says, you know, mark. But there's only 2 plugs that go to the upper shell. I had so much fun with this bird, and all of a sudden now it starts acting up. So I'm going to get to work here. Okay guys, little change of scenery. I got everything put back. The GPS module snapped back in. The geomagnetic compass sensor snapped back into that plug, glued it in a little bit. So start with the inner screws first, work your way out. Make sure it's not like when you're tightening the screws, like it feels really hard, because you could be screwing into a wire. And you know, work your way like almost like an X kinda, and then go all the way out. Usually it doesn't matter which cup you start with, but take these tiny little screws, put those back where they were, and then just put the cups back on. Hopefully that fixed it. I did notice that the geomagnetic compass sensor where it plugs in may have came loose. If that doesn't work, hopefully this works. Sorry about that noise. That is my furnace. I'm in the basement, and this is where most of my tools and junk and stuff is. So I'm just going to put this all back together, take it out for a flight hopefully before the sun goes down, and see if that fixed it. If not, have to take it back apart and see what the hell's the matter with it. Continuity through everything, so I'm hoping that fixed it. If not, take it apart again, or just buy a new one. One or two. Alright guys, thank you for watching.